Nice win for our guys last Friday night. Seems like it was a month ago again because you're so engulfed in the next game already. But our guys did some nice things last week. On really all three phases. You take probably 10 plays out of that game, and it's probably an easier win than it appeared at the end when we were sitting in a 4-minute offense. And A.J. Davis, runs a 3-yard run on a 3rd down and 2 to ice the game and get into victory formation. But Syracuse is a good football team. When you go back, they never quit. We knew that the week before against North Carolina State. They came storming back. We did some things, again, in all three phases, really to prevent ourselves from really, knocking them out earlier than we'd like. Which you can look at it two different ways. We obviously, as coaches and players, are always going to make mistakes, and nobody's perfect. But looking back, the last 10 games in the Dome is not an easy place to play. Period. In the last 10 games, there's only 2 teams that have walked into that Dome from this year to last year that have won games there. It's us and Clemson. If you look, going back 10 home games there, so it's not an easy place to play. But it's just nice to get out of there with a win and move on to the next. And we obviously face an explosive football team in Miami that'll be coming in here probably pretty angry from maybe not playing as well as they'd like to. And Manny Diaz will definitely get those guys cranked up. We know they're talented as any football team in the country. They got skill all over the place, and Manny's getting more involved in the defense. And that shows. And then Dan Enos is our offensive coordinator that I've got a lot of relationships with. Worked together at Cincinnati, worked together at Michigan State together before he took the head job at Central Michigan. Moved on from there. Was at Arkansas, Alabama, and then Miami. So he's got a great pedigree and again, an outstanding offensive coordinator and play caller. So and again, in a new offense for them down there as well. So I think that's all things that that go with the territory there. But talented football team, across the board. So questions.
Shockey Jacques-Louis been playing well lately. I mean, what is he bringing to your offense the past couple weeks?
Shockey can take the top off of coverage. I think he's a tough kid. I'm glad he's finally 100% healthy, but he can run. He made some nice catches. He caught a crossing route and got whacked and held on to it. So it was great to see. He's explosive on some of the outside runs we've done with him when we have handed off to him all season, and he's had opportunities to make plays. So I think it's good for his confidence because we need him here, on this final stretch of the season.
What do you see? What do you learn from playing Miami last year? Was a whole lot of much carryover this year?
Obviously, the defense, there's a lot of carryover because obviously Manny is heavily involved in the defense. I don't want to say he's calling it because I don't know that. I don't get to look at the sideline. We'll find out Saturday, watching him on the sideline. But you see carryover there. Then defensive or offensively, they're different. Obviously, they're different. Narduzzi and Jerry, is a guy that played against us Perry last year, and Jaron Williams, the other quarterback that's been banged up that got in the game the other night. So I expect him to be healthy, and not sure which one we'll see. They do some different things with both of them, so be almost 2 different game plans depending on who's in there. But DJ Dallas and the running backs are talented and run physical, run hard, and something we'll have to prepare for.
What did you learn about protecting the quarterback?
From who?
About protecting the quarterback. It seemed that was a big problem last year.
Against them? Yeah. Protect the quarterback. I learned you better protect the quarterback. We didn't protect him early in the Syracuse game at all, and I was kind of not real happy on the sideline, letting our quarterback get hit. So we got to protect Kenny, and we didn't do it early. We did it later on, which was good. Our guys got their feet wet and kind of got a feel for it. And I thought we kept them pretty clean for as many times as we threw the ball.
Do you think you guys deserve to be ranked?
I don't vote. I don't really care. There's a lot of preseason people that are in the top 25 and they're not there anymore. Our goal is to be there at the end of the season. That's when you want to be ranked. In the middle of the season, it doesn't matter. Preseason rankings don't matter. It's postseason ranking. That's what matters. So we just keep doing our job. We're ranked at 1-0 last week, and this week we'd like to be 1-0 as well. That's the ranking I'm worried about, is what that win column looks like, and preparing our kids weekly for the challenges ahead.
Does the Miami name still, with your kids, carry that marquee is a marquee name, or is it because it's been so long since they've been really at the top for this group? It's not quite as it is a Clemson.
I think they were number 2 in the country just a couple years ago, coming to Heinz Field the last time they stepped on our field. So, you know, when you say such a long time ago, you know, they're still a really good football team that has a ton of talent and a bunch of 4- and 5-star football players on their team, and we don't have many. So if that tells you anything, you know, we don't have a chance because they're talented. So we'll have to come out and play our best. You know, Manny Diaz will have them prepared and ready to go. And like I said, I don't care about what they're ranked. It doesn't matter. I don't care what we're ranked. It's a good football team, and you know, Miami historically and traditionally is a great football team, and that's who you're playing. You're playing that team right there, and that's recognized all over the world.
We've asked you all year, but whenever you have a big halftime lead, how do you find a way to, you know, kind of put a team away in the second half?
You know, you got to execute. You know, you got to execute. I mean, there's 3 third-down drops. You know, Aaron's got one, Nakia's got one. I mean, you kind of knock people out when you convert, and when you don't, you don't, and you give the other team momentum. And it's a game of momentum changes. We give up a big play on defense. We're in cover 3. I mean, we play a lot of man coverage out there, and we're in cover 3, and corner kind of bites down on, you know, what he thought was a stutter, and you get beat over top in cover 3. You know. And if you guys know Pee Wee football, you stay deeper than the deepest is what they say. And you know, you were in the safest coverage you could possibly be in, and we weren't. And you know, so you just give them a momentum. 94 yards, you know, in a coming out situation, where the coming out situation before that we go 3 and out, get the ball to our offense at the 39-yard line, and we score 7 points. So we need to stop them on 3rd down, which, you know, you're feeling pretty good at that point until someone runs right past your corner. But that's, you know, again, nobody's perfect. And you know, and again, those are all just learning situations, and it's, you know, and it's the same thing. I mean, you learn from those things. You know, your offense gets an opportunity to go run the football and run the clock out and get in a 4-minute situation. So I mean, it's, you know, as a coach, if you said, hey, you're guaranteed the win, I'd say, hey, give us a 4-minute, just like we do in a scrimmage. Let's go with a 4-minute at the end here and see if we can, you know, execute and do what we need to do to get the game finished. And you know, we were able to do that. No one asked me if I wanted to do that. They didn't guarantee me the win, so, you know, it keeps you on edge, keeps you guys on edge. But you know what? You get a 4-hour game, you might as well be on edge for 4 hours. Makes it fun.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
From a blocking standpoint, did your running game make progress?
It did. It did. There was some progress in there, and again, the progress will have to increase this week with, you know, Shaq Quarterman in there and Pinckney. I mean, there's. You know, different style guys this week up front that we're gonna have to be more physical up front and create some seams for our tailbacks.
Yeah, I think that game 2 years ago here, that was the end of a season that didn't go necessarily the way you wanted, but from that game on, I mean, you guys have been behind Clemson, maybe the 2nd best team in the conference. I mean, did that moment, that afternoon, sort of signal any sort of attitude shift or any sort of adjustment from?
You know, I don't think so. I mean, I didn't see it. The season was over, and we regrouped. You know, it was a good win. Kids played good, but you know, that's long gone, and so is their victory last season down there in Miami. So, I don't know.
How much does the unpredictability of the Coastal Division, where even when you look at just Miami or the Virginia tournament, or losing home to Georgia Tech, how much does that unpredictability and kind of chaos in that division help you as a coach kind of further prepare your guys mentally for each game? You're kind of reinforcing that.
You know, it really doesn't matter, Craig. I mean, it really, you know, all that stuff. I mean, you guys look at it because you're looking through a piece of paper and going, look at the Coastal. I mean, look at Wisconsin in the Big Ten. I mean, got beat by Illinois, so anybody can beat anybody on any given day. So really, I'm not worried about what anybody else is doing. We just got to do our job and prepare and focus on one team this week. And I know, you know, you guys say that's coach speak and all that. It's a fact, because if our guys start looking at standings and results and what about this, and it just doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And I don't want to get our kids getting caught up in it. You guys don't have to ask them any questions about that this week. You know, it just doesn't matter. I know you will anyway. Jerry will. But it doesn't matter the standings or anything else.
But how do you ascribe, though, I mean, it's on one Saturday to the next. I mean, no matter how good you look on one Saturday, the next Saturday, it doesn't go so well for you. Miami specifically, how do you evaluate a team when they can look so different on a week-to-week basis? You guys have at least been sort of
Consistent, yeah. Look good in the first half and, crappy in the second half, right? I mean, so it's, some guys look good in one game and maybe not the next game, I guess. So it's the world we're living in. I mean, again, go back to, a great Wisconsin team. What they look like in one game and what they look like in another. And again, is that something Illinois did? Is that something Wisconsin did? Is it something we did in the first half, or is it something Syracuse did in the second half? But it's a game of emotions, and you better come to play for 60 minutes or you're going to have a problem. Every team in the ACC, every team in the Big Ten and the SEC, same exact thing. Look at Georgia a couple weeks ago, getting beat by South Carolina. So, I mean, it's the world we're in, and it's, like I said, it's a game of emotion. You better have your mind right going into that game, or your mind will be real wrong after the game.
What do you attribute some of those second half struggles to? Now, we're past 2 weeks, I guess past 2 games, you are up there.
I was going to ask you, Craig, if you noticed.
You would know
anything.
much better than me.
You never know, man. I take all the advice I can get. But, it comes down to execution. Do our guys get lackadaisical thinking that we're up? I don't know. If you look at last year, were we up very often at halftime? So maybe it's a different thing playing with a lead. And you tried, like this week I went in and I didn't even say a word about, hey, it's 0-0. I just said, the week before I said 0-0, starting fresh, let's go out and play. This week I was like, I ain't saying anything about 0-0. I'm just going to let it go and not talk about it. So, again, it's all, going out and making plays and doing the right thing. And it's, there's so many things an offense and a defense can do to you. And if you lose your focus, you lose the play. And if you lose that play, then you might lose the next play. And you got to refocus and, again, just stay focused for 60 minutes and execute. And it comes down to execution. It's a game of execution. There's 11 guys out there. One guy does the wrong thing. I mean, on the big pass, Paris Ford's coming through untouched. Nobody touched him. If we can just get back where we're supposed to, and the quarterback goes, ooh, I don't think I might throw a pick here. He's going to get hit in the mouth and maybe get down in the end zone. But 10 guys do a good job, one guy doesn't. It's not good. One guy drops the pass on third down, your punt team's coming out of your field goal team, and that's not what you want. It's not how you knock people out.
I don't know, you take things.
But looking ahead,
It's on a 4-game winning streak. I don't know if you've had a 5-game winning streak here. How big?
I don't know.
How big would that be? Just kind of for this team to roll off 5 in a row.
it'll be big to be 1-0 this week and beat them. You can sit back on, we'll think about it maybe Sunday and go, oh, that's nice, that's 5. And nobody cares. I say this every week, and I tell our kids that nobody cares what you did the week before. If you sit there and, want to live on your laurels from the week before, you got some issues. We're going to have a great Tuesday. Thought last week we had a kind of an average Tuesday practice, and we're going to have a really good Tuesday. That's my goal, is to have a great Tuesday practice, and then I'll worry about Wednesday. But the big thing is to get our guys locked into Tuesday and have the best Tuesday we can have, and which will hopefully propel us to get the results you want on Saturday at noon.
These last 4 games, you guys have been able to find a balance offensively. It seems like you've been able to run the ball better and still keep up the passing game. Is that important to be balanced, or does it matter how you get it done? And are you pleased with kind of the balance that you have found here these last 4?
Yeah, I don't. I've told Whip, I don't care how you score and how you move the sticks. I mean, we win in the time possession throwing the football. That usually doesn't happen, but we're completing a lot of passes and moving the sticks down the field, and that's the most important thing. I don't care if we don't ever run it again the rest of the year, as long as we win and as long as we're moving the ball and scoring touchdowns. And that's going to be the most important thing. So it doesn't matter how it gets done. Do I want to be balanced? Yes, because I think it makes both phases better. It keeps the defense off track. So I think we have to be to win a championship and have a chance to talk in those terms. But week by week, whatever it takes to get it done.
And with the pass rush, how much of that is schematics, and how much of that is just guys just doing their one job on a specific play?
You know what? The coach would tell you it's all about the players. And we got some guys up front that are just playing relentless, and it's one guy doing his job, and I just see the pockets, collapsing, and I don't see guys trying to, well, I want to get the sack, and I think I'm just going to go this way. I mean, a couple of those, you just see the pocket just get, collapsed, and that's when everybody's doing the right thing. And I think that's what it comes down to, is everybody doing their job. And, we got players up front, and that's what it comes down to, because you can have great pass rushers that do what they want to do instead of what they're coached to do. And then, our kids are just doing what they're supposed to do on the rush, for sure.
Focus is really the big thing that you coaches in for. Being around these kids as much as you are, both at games and practice and off the field, away from football, are they focused individuals?
They're focused. Sometimes you got to wake them up in here. You're focused. Sometimes they're focused on their phones. You know, my team meetings mostly I say, okay, put your phones down, put them away. I don't want them on your lap. You know, so it's getting them focused to start off with. But when you talk about spending so much time with them, you know, we'll get them, you know, in a team meeting at 7:30 tomorrow, and by 11:30 they're gone. Okay, you count those hours. We don't have them for very long. What are they doing up on campus? You know, trying to make sure they go to class. I mean, there's so much. This is not NFL football. It's making sure to go to class, get your study hall hours in, and there's a lot of other things they're thinking about. Where we're thinking about coaching, you know, teaching, you know, schematics down here, and then also, you know, getting emails from academics academics on what they're doing there and what they're doing in life skills and community service and all the other things that they're trying to juggle and we're trying to juggle as coaches.
Much feedback from the academic side of your kids? What do you hear about what they're doing off campus?
Well, no, I don't. You know, academically, we get a lot of feedback. Yeah, I mean that's part of the job. You know, for us to be a successful football program, we got to keep our guys here in school, keep them going to class, and keep them going to study hall. I mean, it's all part of it. It's not just to focus in here and what they're doing and what they do on the practice field, but that's like half my job and being consistent with the punishment or the training they get to make sure they are going to class. So that, I mean, that's all. Yeah, it all goes together. If you have no discipline up there, you'll probably have none down here either. Yeah. I mean, there's always the big pass or the, you know, where I tripped and fell on that inside zone. So there's always those. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's always that, you know, I'm not going to talk about their academics, but, you know, there's fumbles. We fumble the ball sometimes there too, and sometimes we get beat deep. But you're trying to keep 115 guys doing the right things.
Yeah, you talked about wanting to put teams away, but you guys have also been you aren't making the mistakes when it gets tight lately this season. Can a team develop a sense of calmness being in those situations over and over and coming through? And does that give you maybe an advantage when
it does? It does. I mean, we've been in tight games. Some people aren't in tight games, but we've been in tight games. We've put ourselves there, and like I said, it's a nice thing. It's nice to be in a 4-minute at the end where you know the pressure's on. It's kind of like in practice when you try to create those situations. You know, like I said, 4-minute drill or 2-minute drill, 2-minute drill before the end of the half. Great drill, but it's nice to be able to be put in those, and still win the football game. But yeah.
As Mark said after the game that, this team is battle tested. How much do you think those first 4 weeks have really helped you guys kind of get to where you are now?
I think it always does. I mean, I think that's why you build your schedule a little bit, and sometimes you're not battle tested and you can blow some people out, but you don't get into those battles that you want to near the end and learn how to finish and learn how to, how are we going to finish that game. But I think every game is a learning opportunity for our kids, whether it's a blowout win or a tight win or a tight loss. I mean, they're all learning situations that, it's why we come in on Sundays and review the tape, talk about the situations, talk about the keys to victory, and things that are important to winning the game, and, why you win and why you lose. And what we need to, even when you win, you're looking at the things that you did bad to make sure, hey, you screw these things up next week, you might have one of those big L's. And that's why we coach, that's why we teach, that's why we have meetings.
You recruit Florida a lot, you have a lot of Florida players on the team. I mean, is this game going to be like a toll on the recruiting ground? You can play Miami, maybe they don't want you. Is it extra motivation for those guys? I mean, does this game have anything with that?
I would imagine it always is. I mean, I think that there's always that little, edge, playing with a chip on your shoulder if you're from that area, and they're coming up to your house. I think, certainly, I don't care who you play, whether you're from New York and you play, or New Jersey and you're playing Syracuse, or you're playing Miami and you're from that area. I think there's always some type of edge. I hope guys find reasons to be motivated to play, particular teams every week.